What is up guys, KevinJSI here, and today I'm going to be going through the top 10 games that left the greatest impact on my life. Please be sure to like the video and subscribe. Now, let's get into the video. These games aren't in any particular order, but they all hold a special place in my heart. To begin, we have Animal Crossing Wild World. The DSi was my first handheld video game system, and Wild World was my favorite game. Animal Crossing was just a very easy game for a young second grade Kevin to understand, and it kept me interested. Before Wild World, I would get bored with video games fairly quickly, but the way Animal Crossing is designed, it forces you to play consistently and check in every day. For someone who is just starting their journey with video games, this was a spark that led to so much more. On a side note, this game also influenced my hatred for moles. Next up, we got Skylanders Spyro's Adventure. There's a time when the only thing that mattered in life was which Skylander you used. Drobot was the best, by the way, no questions asked. While I was initially drawn in by the figures themselves, what makes it so impactful is that it was the first video game I played the entire way through that was story-based. Being a kid, it's easy to get distracted, but Skylanders was able to keep me hooked until the end. I also think it's responsible for my amiibo addiction. To continue, I have Plants vs. Zombies. This was the first strategy game that I ever beat, and I felt so proud of myself for doing so at the time. It was very simple, but I was addicted to the gameplay. I also loved the charming designs of all the plants and the other game modes, especially iZombie. It is important to note that the Sunflower song was stuck in my head for at least a month after beating the game. Next, we have arguably the most popular game on the list, Minecraft. And let's be honest, everyone was addicted to Minecraft at some point. Surprisingly, it wasn't the creative aspect of Minecraft that drew me in, it was survival. I vividly remember the first day I played the game when I dug myself a 1x2 box underground and sat there terrified of the mobs. I enjoyed the simplicity of the combat and that the game could be as complex as you wanted it to be. This is probably the game that I spent the most time playing, and my only regret was not being able to find Herobrine. Herobrine? Remember when that was a debate? Now we have my favorite party game ever, Mario Party 8. I have hours of great memories playing this game with my family, friends, and even by myself. This was a game you could play with anyone, regardless of age, so everyone was able to enjoy it. I mean, there's no other game that I could play with both my grandma and my little brother that everyone had fun playing, which is why it's on my list. To continue, we have my favorite fighting game of all time, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. I'm usually not a fan of the fighting game genre, but Ultimate is an exception. This is my most played game in the past couple of years and my go-to game playing with friends. In fact, I blame a couple of them for getting me hooked in the first place. Overall, I have a lot of great memories playing Smash with friends and family, and it even inspired me to play the original games of certain fighters in Smash. Next up, I have my favorite platformer, Little Big Planet. Little Big Planet is another one of those games that anyone can play regardless of age, which is why I have so many great memories playing it with my younger brothers. This game is the definition of less is more, because of its simple controls but exciting gameplay as well. I also spent hours developing levels when I was younger. Let me know in the comments below if you want me to make a video playing some of them. Next, we have the game that caused me to switch from a casual gamer to a gaming addict, and that game is The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Up until playing Breath of the Wild, I never would have considered myself a gamer, but Breath of the Wild opened my eyes to all the gaming industry has to offer. I love everything about this game, from the combat, to the story, to the characters, and it will always hold a very special place in my heart. Never before have I been so invested in a video game, and just like everyone else, I am dying for the sequel. Now we have the oldest game on the list, but the one that I beat most recently, Final Fantasy VII. Final Fantasy VII is the only game I've ever played that made me burst into tears. I've cried before playing video games, but this game was different. The game created such a diverse and interesting cast of characters that I grew to love, except Kate Sith. I hate that guy. So whatever the characters were feeling, I felt that way also. Of all the games I've played, this is the one I have the greatest emotional connection to. To finish off my list, I have Fire Emblem Three Houses. This game introduced me to RPGs, and now it's easily my favorite genre of video games. Three Houses is as close to perfect as you can get in a video game because it excels at everything. It has my favorite combat system out of any game I've played because I love the chess-like style of gameplay, and it's able to be both challenging and exciting. I love the cast of characters in Three Houses as well, and the story for every path is phenomenal. So many themes discussed in the game can be applied to our own lives, and I constantly thought of the motivations for all the characters, trying to understand their reasonings. Lastly, the soundtrack for Three Houses is my favorite of all time, which is why I use music for Three Houses in most of my videos. That rounds out my list. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and please be sure to like and subscribe if you did. I got a lot of other videos still in the works, so please stay tuned. Thanks for watching. KevinJSI out. Peace.